We'll hear from a Hall of Fame finalist, Coach Udoka, Coach Alex Jensen, and more on today's edition of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover of the Lunch Break. Come back with me and enjoy the ride. Hello. Welcome to today's edition of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover of the Lunch Break, presented by Byron Riley CPA. Visit the website www.byronrileycpa.com or call 832-303-3995 for your tax advice. 'Tis the season. Get ready for it. If you haven't already filed, you have a few months, but get it done. Take care of it. Call Byron Riley CPA. Visit the website byronrileycpa.com or call 832-303-3995. Got a lot to try to squeeze in today. This live edition of Takeover, as promised, probably be the last live one for a few weeks. Back to work next week, and then Big 12 tournament. Might have one on that Thursday in March. We'll see based on when the Coogs play. Probably not, but I wanted to squeeze this in on my day off from school to do a live show, and then let's go from there. But as I touched on it, let's get into some great news and honor. I'm going to work around a few things, but first things first, Hall of Fame finalist, Houston Cougars men's basketball head coach Kelvin Sampson. Got that honor yesterday. And here are two pictures of it. This is from Utes athletics department. And then there's from the Basketball Hall of Fame, naming Kelvin Sampson a finalist for the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. That's the basketball. That's all the basketball. That's the biggest you can get for basketball. But here's some info about it. University of Houston men's basketball head coach Kelvin Sampson was selected as a finalist for the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame on Wednesday evening. With his selection, Sampson moves one step closer to enshrinement in the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. His name now will be presented to the Honors Committee, consisting of Hall of Famers, basketball executives and administrators, media members, and other experts in the game of basketball. A finalist must receive a minimum of 18 votes from the Honors Committee to be enshrined in the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. Sampson joined Joey Crawford, referee, Mark Few, coach, good friend of Coach Sampson's, Blake Griffin, player, Kevin Johnson, player, Gary McKnight, coach, Doc Rivers, coach, Amari Sotomayor, player, hell of a player, Jerry Welch, coach, and Buck Williams, Iron Man player, hell of a player, as finalists from the North American Committee. There's an international committee, women's basketball committee, and the women's side, Candace Parker and Elena Deladon were named finalists as well. So salute to them also. But more about Coach Sampson and the honor itself. The Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame class of 2026 will be announced at 11 a.m. Central Time, April 4th, in a live broadcast on ESPN2 during the men's Final Four weekend. The class of 2026 enshrinement weekend will be held August 14th through 16th. It begins with a tip-off celebration and awards gala on August 14th at the Mohegan Sun, followed by the enshrinement ceremony on August 15th at Symphony Hall. So once again, the picture of Coach Kelvin Sampson, that picture's put out by the Hall of Fame, naming him as a finalist, and the other by the UH Athletics, picture with Coach Sampson and his wife, Karen. But without further ado, here are just a few comments from Coach Sampson's press conference Wednesday. Took place the same time as I was at UH women's basketball game against Colorado, so I didn't participate in it. It wasn't available. But you hear a question from the Chronicles' Joseph Duarte, followed by a question from Cameron Ebiergo from Cougar Sports One, one of the young lioness, in Cameron's case, covering Houston Cougars athletics. Take a listen.
Thank you, Kelvin. What does this mean to be a finalist on your first year being nominated?
Just unbelievable, really. I was over at Kellen's house playing knockout with my granddaughter Maisie and one of her friends, and my phone started blowing up. I wasn't even aware. But it takes you back to the people that's put you in this position, namely the players. I'm here because I've had some great players, outstanding coaching staffs. Karen, Kellen, Lauren, obviously my mother and father. But also to Mac Rhodes and Hunter Yurchek, Chris Pesman, and Eddie Nunez. But more importantly, to President Couture. I've been fortunate to work with 4 really good athletic directors, but I've only had one president, President Couture, and she's been a unbelievable resource for everything that we've been able to accomplish here. Tillman Fertitta. I know his name's on that building, but without his support, generosity, but also support, Tillman, President Couture, but also guys like Spencer Armour, Jack Moore, Dave Mars, and I better stop naming them. I'm gonna forget. Mark and Judy Cook. I could go on and on and on. I'm glad that I'm going to the next step, but it's also great for the University of Houston. We have a great university. We've made some unbelievable strides, and being able to be the coach here at this school, University of Houston, being able to work with my family and accomplish what we've accomplished has been the highlight of my career. But I have to also mention Jim Livengood, who was my athletic director at Washington State, who supported me through some really tough days. Joe Castiglione, who was an absolute stud athletic director at the University of Oklahoma. But University of Houston is the best job I've ever had. It really is, and I mean that sincerely. And to be able to garner this attention, not just for myself and my family, but also for our university. This is great for everybody. So I'd like to have been a fly on the wall to see what Ned and Ime Sampson would think about this, though.
Thank you, Joseph. We'll go to Cameron Albergo from Cougar One Sports. Cameron, please go ahead with your question for Coach.
Congratulations, Coach Sampson.
Thank you, Cameron.
If you could go back and give your younger self when you were just starting out coaching a piece of advice, what would it be?
That's a great question, Cameron. I've heard that asked of other people, but I've never stopped to think. I would say, just never quit. Always believe in yourself. Don't ever allow other people to define who you are. You know who you are, and just the perseverance that the job requires. It's not easy being a basketball coach. It's especially in this era. It is very difficult. But I thank God for giving me the passion to do what I really enjoy doing. I really enjoy coaching. This is what I've always wanted to do. I didn't know anything about fame or money when I started. I didn't get into it for any of that. That was never a thought. I just like coaching. I like coaching the 11-year-old girls at the recreation department. Had a basketball league, and on Saturdays I'd go over, and I think I was making about $1.60 an hour coaching 11-year-old girls. And I love doing that. I love coaching everywhere I've coached. There's so many people that help you along the way, and they're kind of the wings that you can't get there without help. And I just think about our early days here and where we are now with our program, and we've got a new athletic director now in Eddie Nunez, and he's going to do great things for our university. President Couture has been an absolute huge asset for me and our program, and my staff, players, more importantly, the players. Emmanuel Sharp setting the school record last night. I just I went up on the plane and tapped him and gave him a fist bump last night, and told him that I loved him. I was proud of him, and that's why you get into coaching, is see your kids that you coach do good, move on in life. They become good husbands and fathers, and they have children, and you get to be part of that. But it's all about the relationships, and I've been very blessed to have relationships and still maintain those relationships from every school that I've coached at.
Those are some comments from Coach Kelvin Sampson from his Wednesday night press conference after he was announced as a finalist for the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. I hope everyone heard how much he loves the University of Houston athletics. Ironically, those comments, that praise, his love and appreciation for UH athletics won't go viral like last week when everyone lost their damn minds when he said that Houston athletics was poor in comparison to other Power 4 schools. It was a story for like 2 days. But I haven't seen anything nationally about how much he loves UH after being named a finalist for the Naismith Memorial Hall of Fame. I wonder why that is. But I digress. Here on today's edition of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover, going to play post-game comments from head coach Matthew Mitchell after Wednesday's Coug loss to Colorado, 10-point loss. Women's team only has one win in Big 12 play, but they are competing. They are fighting. They're doing what some other teams at this point of the season that have not seen the results and their hard work pay off in W's start to do on college level, pro level. I'm not going to name names, but two of those teams played on the men's side last night, the Big 12, and their coaches called them out last night for their performances in their post-game press conferences, or lack thereof effort. But listen to Coach Matthew Mitchell. Wednesday's game between UH women and Colorado was their Play for K game, raise awareness and funds for breast cancer and cancer awareness in honor of the legendary Coach K. Yao, who fought and battled cancer her adult life and was a legend in women's basketball coaching, legend in coaching. So Coach Mitchell's opening comments are regarding the K. Yao, Coach Yao, and the foundation, and then we get into Q&A with media and my question about him about what the Colorado head coach said about UH women's basketball. Here we go.
First of all, really appreciate everybody that was involved tonight in promoting our Play for K game. Very, very important night to bring awareness to breast cancer. And I was fortunate enough to know Coach Yao, and one of the last times I was with her, I just asked her, what can we do? And she said, just never, ever give up the fight for a cure. And I know there's people all over the world working for that, and we appreciate that effort. But the women's basketball community has really led the way in breast cancer awareness, and it's a real credit to the power of Coach Yao's spirit. And I was very fortunate enough to know her and to learn from her and be inspired by her. So I appreciate everybody who came out tonight, and thank the university for raising awareness for breast cancer research and for us to one day ultimately find a cure. So wanted to start with that. Give a lot of credit to Colorado. Tough team, tough, talented team. I thought their size and athleticism was hard for us to deal with at times. Thought we dealt with it well at times. I thought we were able to disrupt them in times in the game. But, I thought we sort of ran out of gas and energy last Saturday. I didn't feel like we did that tonight. I felt like it was more mental errors or errors of commission instead of omission. I thought we were trying hard tonight. I thought we just had some untimely turnovers and that we need to clean up and do better. But I thought the effort was much better than we had on Saturday. So that's a credit to our players. I thought there in the fourth quarter we really had a chance to win the game. And so, just hurt for our players right now. They're not getting victories, and they prepared so well for this game. And I think you could see that at the beginning of the game. We just were very disruptive and made it tough on Colorado to score, but they ultimately came out with the victory. So credit to them. Well coached, talented team. Another tough night in the Big 12 for the Cougs, but we will stay at it and see what we can learn from the game and continue to improve.
Coach Jared Payne described your team as fearless. Just your thoughts on the reputation you're getting around the conference as being tough and not giving up.
Well, I appreciate it. I mean, I don't know what else to say other than I'm so impressed with the character and the resilience of our team. I mean, I don't know what else I can tell you all that can describe how hard you might think it would be for these players to continue to fight and be in games and give themselves a chance to win. And I do think it's noticeable. I think the other coaches are noticing it, and I certainly have seen growth because it's tough. We just have not been able to get it over the hump as many times as we had hoped. But we still have a bunch of games left here, and we're just going to continue to try to improve and get better. But they prepared to win this game. They came in with. So you have for a Wednesday game, you have a Monday practice, you have a Tuesday practice, and you have a game day practice on Wednesday. And so that's 3 opportunities to prepare to win. And they took advantage of that and really battled. And we just have strong belief in these players that we will earn some victories here down the home stretch of the season. It's what we'll be working toward.
Hey, Coach. In a game where nobody else hit a 3, how important was it for Bree to go 6 of 10? And do you see that a lot from her in practice and being consistent at shooting that 3-ball? Yeah,
Bree's been working hard on her 3-point shot. Stays, gets in, does work early in the day, and then stays after practice and gets extra shots in. So it was a huge boost for us tonight. That has not been our strong suit this season. Haven't shot the 3 well. So 6 threes for her is awesome. I'm so happy. It's just another example of a player who we continue to invest in. And it's a good time really to mention our staff and how hard they keep coming to work every day. And we just have a plan and a vision for our program. It's a place where you're going to get major investment as a player in every way that you can. And in the current landscape of college basketball, we're going to invest in you as a player. And that a lot of that has to do with player development. And so our coaches, are in charge of different positions, and they pay attention to it, and we watch film with the players, and they work hard. And so, I think that work showed up tonight, and that's what I keep telling them. I don't know when it's going to show up, but it'll show up. So you just have to stay with it. And the only way that you can ensure that you won't reach your goal is to quit. That's the only thing that will prevent you from doing that. So I think that was a great example of how organized we are, how committed we are to preparation, and good example because Bree's had some nights where she hadn't been able to hit the three at the rate that she wants to. So good for her and happy for her tonight.
Coach, when you look at Colorado's offense and how they were playing, and a lot of ball movement, a lot of getting downhill inside the paint, most of their points were inside the paint. Do you think if you were to play them again tonight, you would make some adjustments defensively wise? Well,
the issue that we have is, the size is hard to deal with. So offensively, it's hard to deal with because they can just really get in the lane and clog up the lane and make you shoot perimeter shots with all of their length and size. Well, if we had the same type of game plan and let them comfortably run their stuff, then I think it would be even more difficult for us. So we either have to be aggressive in what we were doing and disruptive, and I thought we had some great possessions tonight where it was tough on them and made it difficult. But also that's where you see some of those layups at so it's sort of a pick your poison type situation. And I was proud of our team. We hustled in the zone tonight, and that was disruptive. So, I think that you would certainly go back and watch the film and see what you could learn from it. But I think from an approach standpoint, I think we were where we needed to be. We just came up a few buckets short, and I think we had a good plan.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Coach.
There you have it. Post-game press conference from Houston Cougars women's basketball head coach Matthew Mitchell after the Cougs' 10-point loss Wednesday night to the Colorado Buffaloes. Colorado scored 60-plus points in the paint. In the paint, they scored 73. 60-plus points in the paint out of their 70 points. That is rare to do. They saw an advantage and took advantage of it big time. But there you listen to Matthew Mitchell. You could hear his disappointment for his players. They're putting in the work, putting in the effort. They are getting better. Houston guard Brianna Peguero made 6 3-pointers Wednesday night, season high. Her previous season high this season was 2 made threes. This season, she did that 4 times. Wednesday, she made 6. So that's an example of the hard work that they are putting in, just not turning into wins in Big 12 play. I'm not surprised at it because Big 12 is better than the Cougs are right now. Big 12 women's basketball is not on the same level as the SEC or the Big 10 in women's hoops, but Houston Cougars women's basketball is not on that level of Big 12 play yet. I believe they'll get there, but they have a long way to go. But first things first, they compete. They play hard and they don't quit. And as Coach Mitchell said, as long as you don't quit, you don't lose. You give yourself a chance to compete game in, game out, and that's what they're doing. So I give them credit for that. Near the bottom of the hour of today's edition of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover of the Lunch Break. Today's edition of the Takeover is presented by Byron Riley CPA. Visit the website byronrileycpa.com or call 832-303-3995. Byron Riley CPA is one of the members of the Houston Roundball Review online business directory. And as a member of that, one of those perks is you do get to sponsor a live stream show. How about that? H-Towns, let me share the H-Town slide. I already talked about Coach Sampson and his great news. But around the Houston area, women's basketball, men's basketball, Houston, Rice, Prairie View, TSU, we know the Cougs men's team is 22-2 overall, 10-1 in the Big 12 after their 14-point win Tuesday night over Utah on the road. Completed that Utah swing of the conference with 2 wins. Next up this Saturday, Valentine's afternoon, against a struggling, defeated Kansas State team, Wildcats. Coach Jerome Tang, if you haven't seen it, his press conference after their home loss last night to Cincinnati, he said he's embarrassed. He was going to hold a 6 a.m. practice today. So we'll see if the players for K-State have any pride this Saturday against Houston, but it's going to be up to the Cougs to take that, whatever's left of their pride, and squash it early, and then open up what seems like some of the players for K-State have already done, is toss in the towel for the season. So it's up to the Cougs this Saturday to not give them hope, not give them confidence, not give them any hint of life, and just keep them down and keep them struggling and say, yeah, not today. Y'all came in with one Big 12 win. You're going to leave with one Big 12 win. And that's not talk. UH fans, don't look past K-State to that Monday game against Iowa State. Next game on the schedule is Kansas State this Saturday. And reminder, the game is airing on Peacock. So if you're not inside the building, find somebody who has Peacock or buy it. Women's basketball, I touched on it. Team is 7-17 overall, 1-12 in Big 12 play. Next game will be on the road at Kansas this Saturday, 4 o'clock Central. See that game on ESPN+. Prairie View men, 4-7 in the SWAC, 9-15 overall. Yeah. Home on this weekend, Saturday and Monday. Next two games, Saturday against Southern. Game can be seen on SWAC TV, 4:30 p.m. And then Monday against Grambling State. Lost over the last few days, lost 196 to Florida A&M. And then last Saturday, lost to the first place Bethune-Cookman Wildcats, 82-76 on the road. Prairie View women remain winless in SWAC play. 0-11 for head coach Ty Dillard in her first year in charge on the Hill for the Lady Panthers. Their game tonight on the Hill against Grambling State can be seen on SWAC TV, tipping off at 6 p.m. Rice men's basketball picked up a win against another of the Owls in the American. This win over Florida Atlantic, final score of 81-73. Rice improves to 5-7 in the American and now sits in 10th place in the conference, which is good because only the top 10 of the 13 teams in the conference qualify for American Conference tournament. So they, I think, a half game ahead of North Texas with a few games to go. So it's important for Rice men's hoops to finish in the top 10 to reach American Conference championship / tournament play. 180 of the Rice men's team is the Rice women's team. Winners of 16 straight games, 11-0 in conference play, 21-3 overall. Coming off a come-from-behind win over North Texas this past Tuesday, inside the House of Tudor with a 2-point win, 70-68. Next up for Coach Edmonds and her Owl squad. Home game Friday night, Friday the 13th, against, I think, the one win in conference play, Wichita State Shockers, tipping off 7 o'clock. Game can be seen on ESPN+. Texas Southern men, 5-6 in the SWAC, up and down in the conference play. Next up, this Saturday, inside H&P Arena against Grambling State. Be on the TSU Athletics YouTube channel, 4 o'clock tip-off. And then hosting Southern this Monday, the 16th. That game can be seen on SWAC TV. And then rounding out, the Lady Tigers. TSU Lady Tigers are also 5-6 in the SWAC. Their game tonight against Southern can be seen on SWAC TV. But, of course, you're going to be inside H&P Arena because women's games are free for TSU women. Free game, free tickets. You can be at the game, be at TSU for the 6 o'clock tip-off. Then Saturday, they host Grambling State, 2 o'clock tip-off for Texas Southern coach Vernette Skeet and her Lady Tigers. Bottom of the hour, almost. And then after the break, going to play some comments from Utah's Alex Jensen, share some Big 12 news, and I'm curious to get your thoughts on the Big 12's new GlassFloor, which will be used for the Big 12 men's and women's basketball tournament taking place in March in Kansas City. Have two quick videos to show Get your thoughts on what you think it looks like, how you think it looks. It's an innovative idea. I kind of like it, but we'll see what your thoughts are. And I'll share some comments that I saw from the organizer who made a guest appearance earlier Thursday on Big 12 Studios show. So I can share that with you as well. But you are watching today's edition of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover of the Lunch Break, presented by Byron Riley, CPA. Also on YouTube via the Houston Roundball Review YouTube channel, as well as on Roku via the BS3 Network. Get Roku, download the app, download BS3 so you can watch shows like this one and more great content on a BS3 TV. I'll be back in 90 seconds as you're watching today's edition of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover of the Lunch Break. Come back in 90 seconds.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
Welcome back to today's edition of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover of the Lunch Break. Today's edition is presented by Byron Riley, CPA. Visit ByronRileyCPA.com or call 832-303-3995 for your tax needs. And you should have tax needs, so give him a call or visit the website. Call 832-303-3995 or visit the website www.byron, B-Y-R-O-N, Riley, R-I-L-E-Y, CPA.com. And again, Byron Riley is a member of the Houston Roundball Review online business directory. And one of the perks of being a member of the directory is you get to be a sponsor of one of the live stream shows airing on the Houston Roundball Review YouTube channel. I did a tease about Big 12 news. Going to toss you a curve real quick and play some post-game comments from Houston Rockets head coach Ime Udoka after the Rockets 105-102 loss to the Clippers Wednesday night. And then I'll share Big 12 news, including the new GlassFloor, which will be used next month at the Big 12 men's and women's basketball tournament taking place in Kansas City in March.
Coach, can you just talk about what happened in that fourth quarter as far as the defense is concerned, and how did Kawhi Leonard get going like that?
I think it started midway through the third, toward the end of the third, and first half of the fourth. We went through felt like a lull with playing hard enough to compete. Got up 15, and that poor start, let them back in the game, and then we decided to play second half of the fourth, and play like that is noticeable, and we're right back in the game. Play like that the whole way, it wouldn't even be a game. But obviously a talented guy that, we were going after him quite a bit. And on the last one, spun away from the crowd, spun away from where the trap was, got to his open side, and made a tough shot.
21 turnovers tonight, and you guys are bottom 10 in turnovers this year. What do you attribute that in general, and what can you do to fix that issue?
Got to be strong with the ball, and that's why I said we did it to ourselves. Being up 15, and even at halftime, I think we had 10 at that point, and we had 11 in the second half. But for 28 points, it's holding somebody to 102 before that last shot is enough to win a game if you take care of the ball and get shots up. And so that's why it should sting, going into the break, that we kind of did that to ourselves about being up 15, knowing that they're a team that packs the paint, goes for steals in the pocket. You either got to hit the skip pass or be strong with the ball in the pocket. Same thing we saw last night, and got a little bit worse tonight. But got to take care of the ball. Some basic principle of winning the possession battle is, rebounding like we did much better tonight, and then getting shots up.
Coach, you often talk about consistency. How do you guys find that, like for both halves, on both ends of the floor?
Yeah, I mean, that's the key. And like I said, we go through these lulls of kind of going through the motions and letting them back in the game once we went up 15, and just too many errors here and there that let them hang around. We got a chance to stretch the lead, up 15, turnovers in transition, some offensive rebounds, let them back in the game. And so it's that's the thing. But when the energy dips up and down, it's not a great thing for us. We play hard like we did in the last half of the fourth quarter. We're in good shape. And like I said, it wouldn't even be a game.
There you have some post-game comments from Rockets head coach Ime Udoka after the Rockets 105-102 loss Wednesday night to the Clippers. More of that is available on the Rockets website, but that video content is courtesy of NBA Media that I subscribe to as a national colleague, credential member of the NBA. Toss that out there for you. Now some Big 12 news. This was, I guess, one of the big announcements that has been teased by Commissioner Yormark and Big 12 personnel the last few days. Big 12 Conference unveils ASB GlassFloor for Big 12 men's and women's basketball tournaments. The Big 12 Conference and ASB GlassFloor introduced a state-of-the-art, full LED video sports floor that will debut at the 2026 Big 12 men's and women's basketball tournaments this March at the T-Mobile Center in Kansas City. The tournaments will mark the first time ASB GlassFloor's LED court technology will be used for official competition in the United States, representing a significant milestone in the modernization of college athletics. Beyond its use at the Big 12 basketball tournaments, this initiative reflects a shared vision to advance innovation in sports, exploring new ways to enhance competition, fan engagement, and the overall game day experience. ASB's GlassFloor is a next-generation, high-performance sports floor that meets the standards of modern hardwood courts. Integrated LED technology beneath the playing surface unlocks dynamic, interactive digital graphics and capabilities impossible on traditional courts. Vetted at the highest levels and used during events at NBA All-Star 2024, as well as in EuroLeague professional games and FIBA-sanctioned competitions, the digital court enhances the fan experience both in arena and on broadcast. It enables real-time branding, money, in-game activations, and data-driven visuals that seamlessly adapt across basketball and other sports without compromising performance, durability, or student asset safety. ASB GlassFloor will make its official debut at the 2026 Big 12 Women's Basketball Tournament, tipping off Wednesday, March 4th, and will also be used for the men's tournament, which begins Tuesday, March 10th. Throughout both tournaments, the court will be used to highlight new partnership opportunities, money, elevate fan engagement, and enhance in-game entertainment. During each matchup, visual effects displayed on the court could include dynamic court designs, shot charts, interactive games for fans during timeouts, and immersive animations following key plays and moments. Here is the court reveal. Let me know your thoughts in the comments as you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, and of course on Roku. What do you think? It's high tech, fancy. I'm going to share some more comments about what I heard during today's earlier conversation on Big 12 Studio, but that's the court reveal. Now, here's an example of some more of the potential functionality of the new glass floor. What do you think? I think it's technology, another step forward. Big 12, a different league, trying something new. But now some comments from the folks involved. Commissioner Yormark, our goal at the Big 12 is simple. Keep raising the bar. Elevating our league's profile and adding real value to our programs requires a willingness to push boundaries. Last year, the introduction of the XII 12 pattern on our tournament court did exactly that. And this year, we're taking the next step with ASB GlassFloor. This technology represents the future, and bringing it to our basketball tournaments reinforces our commitment to innovation, positioning the Big 12 as a different league and national leader in elevating the game, end quote. This partnership with the Big 12 is a major milestone for ASB GlassFloor and for basketball in the United States, said Kris Thornton, CEO of ASB GlassFloor America. ASB GlassFloor is engineered to enhance athlete safety while delivering the elite performance standards players demand. Through ASB Arena and Event Services, AES, the ASB Arena is in Orlando. So I'm going to add that some context to that in just a second. We are helping teams and conferences unlock new revenue generation, money, and fan engagement. The Big 12 is setting the standard for innovation, making them the perfect partner to bring this platform to elite competition and shape the future of college sports, end quote. Baylor head coach, women's head coach, Nikki Collin, quote, "We are thrilled that the Big 12 is partnering with ASB GlassFloor for the conference tournament. Our team had the opportunity to practice on it back in November, and it was an incredible experience for our players. The court is not only visually impressive, but it plays well and represents where our sport is headed. To be part of this kind of future-driven momentum in collegiate athletics is special, and I'm thankful to Commissioner Yormark and the Big 12 Conference for pushing our league forward and embracing bold ideas to elevate the game. All eyes will be on Kansas City, and the visibility it brings to our league is something to look forward to," end quote. KU head coach, men's head coach, Bill Self. "Since Commissioner Yormark has been in charge of our league, there have been many new initiatives and developments to promote and elevate the Big 12, and I believe playing on the glass floor is something that will receive great interest. I'm excited about it. I'm an old school guy, I am too, but this has me thinking of new school ways. And from what I've seen and heard, this is the wave of the future. I think it will be great," end quote. I'm not going to have time to get into the players of the week, but I want to share what I heard earlier today from Kris Thornton, the CEO of ASB GlassFloor America, when he appeared on the Big 12 studio show with Ari Timken and James Westling. ASB America is based in Orlando, Florida. Teams, NBA players have worked out, have practiced on it. Big 12 teams, when they go play UCF in Orlando, have also practiced on it. The court is safer on the knees and ankles of the players with how it's designed and constructed. So a lot of great things. The NBA is a shareholder in ASB GlassFloor. Other schools and conferences are looking at installing it for their practice facilities. So those discussions are taking place. So it is being well thought out. It has been tested. The testing has shown that it is safer on the knees and ankles of the players. So a lot of positive things for it. Dizzy Beasy, thank you for your comment. Commissioner Yormark, he is forward thinking, and he's trying, the slogan for the Big 12 is a different league. When you are a younger conference, you have to find different ways to get your brand, your name, and recognition out there. So this is another way of doing it. And I think it's great for Big 12 women's hoops in the tournament because women's teams will experience the floor first. The only kind of negative about it is those games in the tournament for Big 12 women's basketball will be on ESPN Plus and not on a linear platform. So not as many eyeballs will get a chance to see how the floor looks as it will for the men's tournament a few days later. But it's at least a start, and it's good that the women's teams will get a chance to experience it first. Final moments of today's edition of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover. I want to play post-game comments from Utah Utes men's hoops head coach Alex Jensen after his Utes lost to the Coogs on Tuesday, because I want to give you a different perspective from the opponent to let you know what other coaches and or players think about Houston Cougars men's basketball. Coach Alex Jensen.
First of all, credit to Kelvin and Houston. He's done an incredible job there. They do what they do, and they really expose your weakness as a team. But great crowd tonight. I thought the student section, they stayed till the end, and I was happy with our guys at the end that kept playing. Again, going back, it's hard to win games when you have as many turnovers as points and give up 20 points off those turnovers. But at times we were good, which is putting together the 40 minutes and not having those 2-3 minute lulls that we have. Our margin for errors, slim, so those hurt us. But I think I was really happy with the group that competed at the end, kept playing.
You mentioned the turnovers, and obviously it wasn't. I mean, it's a high number, but it's not compared to what some games have been. But what does it say about Houston that they're just able to just pounce on you like that with their defense and then capitalize on the other end?
Houston is unique in a lot of ways. It was the first game in a long time where we didn't talk mostly about defense because offensively, if you hold the ball or you over dribble, they can really make you look bad. And you saw that when we ran up to the end of the shot clock, but. No, they're good. They do what they do. They don't change very much. They've got, a really good team, and they make it hard for you. Like I said, our margin for error as a team is small, but especially against Houston offensively, it's going to be that much smaller.
Coach, when you face a team like this that really kind of dictates things defensively, how much of a night like this is genuinely teaching them how to handle this sort of defensive pressure and just kind of the way they're able to dictate the tempo and all that?
And I've talked about that a lot this year about our team maturing, and we talked about it for the 2 days leading up to it about got to pass, the dribbling. If you dribble or hold it, they just really lock into you, and that was kind of the message through the timeouts. We execute plays, and we did a good job at times, but again, the maturity and the growing and getting better of recognizing how they're guarding us, what works, and then continuing to do it is we're getting better at it. But again, they expose your weaknesses, and I think it's you always want to win, but I think it's a good game for us as a team and individually to realize. Hopefully we realize how far we need to go and what we need to work on.
Emmanuel Sharp had 8 3-pointers. Seems like he's making them from everywhere on the court. What makes a guy like him so difficult, regardless of him actually having a night like tonight?
No. He's we talked about him. I think 7 of 10 shots he shoots are threes. In a game like tonight, we really focused on the rebounding because that's where I think they really bury you. Like they get the ball up and then they crash 2 or 3 guys and just smother you on the boards. But no, he had the 6 threes, and that was the difference in the first half. And again, we went into it. I didn't mind them making threes. There was 2 of them we showed at halftime that were mental errors on our part, not because it was him shooting it, but just we missed an assignment or we rotated when we didn't. But again, like the paint and the turnovers and the rebounding are huge for us. So I mean, give him credit. He had a great game, but we didn't help ourselves there in a couple of them early.
Coach Sampson talked before you got in here about his first year at Houston. They were 13-19, and it was about establishing behaviors, establishing habits, and kind of their identity that first year. And so for you in your first year here at Utah, as frustrating as an outing like that can be, how necessary are these types of nights where you're competing against one of the top teams in the country?
No, it's a, you know what, I've admired Kelvin. I mean, Kelvin, I don't know him well, but he's one of the few coaches that he started at Montana Tech. And a lot of coaches nowadays don't work their way up from that place, and I'm sure there was a lot of long bus rides, but no, he's won wherever he's gone, and you're not trying to mimic them, but it's a great learning thing because they have a culture. He recruits a particular type of player, and I'd say like all the guys he has, lays out expectations before they get there. And I would say, all of his guys are high character guys and are part of the group. And that's, something that I think that we want to do the same thing here, get that, those guys and build it where, it kind of attracts that type of player too after a while.
Comments from Utah head coach Alex Jensen after Utah's loss to the Houston Cougars men's basketball team. And listen to what he said about getting guys of high character, things Coach Sampson says all the numerous times to the media and the fans here in town. And then go compare that to comments you've heard from other coaches regarding their own players. And one team is Houston's next opponent, the Kansas State Wildcats. Coogs face them this Saturday afternoon, 3 o'clock Central, inside Fertitta Center. Game can be seen on Peacock. K-State has one win, and they're struggling. You just have to go watch Coach Chang's press conference to hear for yourself. Fans have turned on him. Players have mailed it in. We'll see what they do this Saturday against the Cougs. Real quickly, American Conference Player of the Week, Sincere Parker from Memphis. Averaged 25 points, men's basketball, 25.5 points and 4 boards coming off the bench in 2 Tigers wins last week, including a conference season high 40 points in 26 minutes at UAB on February 5th. He became the first Division I player since at least 1996-97 to record 40 points, 6 3-pointers, and shoot 100% from the line on 6 for 6 in 26 minutes or less. He's also only the 5th player in Division I this season with 40 points off the bench. Freshman of the week, Gavin Hightower from South Florida, had the best game of his college career so far against UTSA on February 4th, scoring 21 points on 8 for 8 shooting with 3 assists in the Bulls' 109-88 win. American Conference Women's Basketball Player of the Week, Megan Nestor, from North Texas, scored 20 points and collected 13 rebounds in a come-from-behind win over Temple. The senior scored all 13 points in the final quarter for the Mean Green, hitting the game-tying and go-ahead baskets in the final minutes. Freshman of the week, Adriana Robles for UTSA, averaged 5.5 points, 3 boards, and 2.5 assists, and 2 steals per game. She scored 7 points and collected 4 rebounds in the road win over Tulsa. And as Mr. Big Tex Coach says about K-State, they're in a sad state and the players have quit. But again, we'll see what they do this Saturday against Houston. We'll see if they come out hot. I don't think it's going to matter. But the sooner the Cougs put them away Saturday, the team and the fans can focus on Iowa State on Monday. Final moments, SWAC honors. Bethune-Cookman's Jacoby Hetty, Arkansas Pine Bluff's Keon Williams, Jackson State's Jamie Mitchell Jr., and Mississippi Valley State's Michael James received SWAC men's hoops honors. Player of the week, Jacoby Hetty, averaged 23 points and 7 rebounds across the 2-game stretch while shooting 46% from the field and 86% from the free throw line. He also added 1.5 assists per game, helping power BCU on the offensive end of the floor. Co-impact, I hate shared honors. I'm just sorry. It's good for the players, but come on now. Keon Williams played a pivotal role in helping Arkansas Pine Bluff earn victories over Jackson State and Alcorn State. Over the 2 games, he averaged 22.6 points, 7 rebounds, and 5.6 assists per game while shooting efficiently from the perimeter. He shared the coach impact honor with Jamie Mitchell, who contributed for Jackson State during the past week of competition. He averaged 26 points per game to go along with 10.5 rebounds per game. Those numbers, and they were co-impact players of the week rather than player of the week. Okay. Okay, whatever. And newcomer of the week, Michael James averaged a league-leading 30 points per game during the past week for Mississippi Valley State, shooting 50% from the field and 33% from beyond the arc. SWAC women's honors go to Shania McCarthy, Jayla Pelly, and Texas Southern's Talia Logwood. Player of the week, Shania McCarthy for Florida A&M, averaged 18.5 points and 7 rebounds across the 2-game stretch while shooting 52% from the field and 87% from the free throw line. She also added 2 steals per game, helping power FAMU on both ends of the floor. Impact Player of the Week, Jayla Pelly, played a pivotal role in helping Pine Bluff earn victories over Jackson State and Alcorn State. Surprising. Over the 2 games, he averaged 15.5 points, 2 boards, and 4 assists per game, while also shooting. You see how the SWAC, these looks like AI-generated press releases, right? Shooting efficiently from the perimeter. Newcomer of the week, Talia Logwood, was a key contributor for Texas Southern during this past week of competition. She averaged 23 points per game, 4 rebounds per game, and 1.5 steals per game during road contests at Bethune-Cookman and Florida A&M. Mr. Big Texco, I see what you said. This game, Saturday, Houston versus K-State, it's going to be a beatdown. It should, no question. But we're dealing with young kids. K-State players may have some pride. They may have had a hell of a practice on Thursday morning and said, to hell with Coach Chang, we're going to play for ourselves. PJ Haggerty coming home, Crosby area kid, coming home this Saturday. He may put up 50. He already takes twice as many shots as everybody else on his team. He may have the best game of his career. The Cougs may be looking past them, looking to Iowa State. You still got to play the game. You still have to get it done early and not give them any hope, not give them any confidence in that game that they have a chance to win the game. Do I think Houston's going to win? Hell yeah. No question. But they still have to do their part and play Cougar basketball. They can't half-step it and half-ass it and say, yeah, you guys stink. We're in first place. Okay, and give us the win. Can't do that. They still got to get it done. And then join us for Let's Rage Coogs after the game on YouTube and Twitch and Facebook as we discuss it, what should be Houston's 11th Big 12 win this season. Thank you, as always, for everybody, for your comments from Mr. Big Texco, Dizzy Busy, Queen Wanda Polk, and everyone else. And, of course, to the sponsor, presenter of today's show, Byron Riley CPA. Visit ByronRileyCPA.com. Call 832-303-3995. That'll wrap it up for today's edition of the Houston Roundball Review. Takeover of the lunch break. Powered by JM&E. Streaming on Houston Roundball Review YouTube, Houston Roundball Review on Facebook, and of course on Roku via the BS3 Network. Wrap it up. Since 1994, the Houston Roundball Review. Local name, global perspective. Everyone, take care. Peace.